In the previous video, I've told you about changing the color and line type of an object in AutoCAD. In this video, I will tell you about changing the line weight and transparency. Here, let's look at this drawing and you'll notice that in this drawing, we have this line with a different line weight. The width of this line is more than the width of its counterparts here. When you'll compare it, you'll simply see the difference. Now, let's look at this part of the drawing here. Here we have the simple drawings. Now, in order to change the line weight of this part of the drawing, you need to apply the line weight property. And in this case, a line weight of 0.3 has been applied. Now, to change the line weight, go to this properties panel and select this line weight drop down. Here you will see different line weights starting from 0.00 mm. Obviously that will be the default line weight. And if you want to see the default line weight, simply go to this line weight settings and check it. So here we have the default line weight of 0.25 mm. So that's the default line weight which is currently applied to all of these objects. Now let's click on OK. Let's go to this drop down, and now if you want to even thicken the lines, you can select the respective options, or if you want to increase the thickness, you can select 0.3, 0.35 and all of these line weights. So in this case, we have a line weight of 0.30 applied on this line, and we'll select the same line weight for this part. So let's now select the geometries on which you need to apply the line weight. So carefully select these lines. Now the lines are selected. Let's go to the drop down and select the 0.3 line weight. Now press escape key. So here we have this line weight. Now in this case, you can simply see the line weight here, but in most of the cases, the line weight will not be visible even after applying the line weight. And in order to make it visible, you need to ensure that this line weight status bar option is activated. So in this case, we have this LW display active. Now you may or may not find this LW display or line weight display option on the status bar. And if this option is not available on the status bar, then go to this customization and select this line weight. So make sure that a check mark is visible along this line weight option. Now, once the line weight display is here, click on it to activate it, and then you'll be able to see the line weights. Now let's go to the original drawing and let's look at this part. Here we have transparency applied to this part of the geometry. Now if you compare it with this part of the geometry, you'll notice that this one is quite bright with 0% transparency, and here a transparency of nearly 70% has been applied. So that's why the object look a little bit dim than these objects. Now in order to apply the transparency, again you need to go to the properties. So in this case, I'll first select the objects. So here we have it. These objects are selected. Let's select these two lines as well. And let's make the selection here also. So now the objects are selected. Let's go to this properties panel, expand it. And here we have the transparency option. Now you can increase this transparency here simply by entering the value. And this value ranges from 0 to 90. So 90 is the maximum transparency that you can apply. So let's type a transparency value of 70 and press tab key. So here we have it. Now you can apply the transparency in this way, or you can also move this slider in order to apply the transparency. And in this case, I'll obviously keep the transparency value to 70. So let's type 70 and press tab or enter key. Now let's look back in the drawing area, press escape. Here we have it. The transparency has been applied. In order to see this object properly, just like this one, you can also change the color. So you already know how to change the color. So let's select all of these objects. Let's change its color to yellow. Okay, now you can compare it with this object, and obviously we have the transparency, but here in this case also you need to ensure that this transparency status bar option is active, because if you turn it off just like this, even after applying the transparency will not be visible. So if you don't find this transparency option here on the status bar, go to the customization and make sure that this transparency is checked. Once this is checked, you'll find this option and click on it to activate it. Similarly, you need to ensure that line weight display should be checked and it should be on here. So if you turn it off, line weight will not be visible even after applying the line weight. So let's go to this option and turn it on. So this was all about line weight and transparency option of AutoCAD.